All right,
All right,
one
we
second,
are. 1 second, dude. Every time, I don't know what it is. Every time I press unmute on one phone with this at the very beginning, it unmutes both. Um, we're officially back after a brief hiatus. So it is good to be back. Good to hear your voice,
It was
Rooster.
84 years, bruv.
It felt like 84 years from all sides. Don't worry about it. I felt the silence as well. So it's good to be back though. One of those things again, regardless of whatever shit's going on, the stonks will continue to be, they're gonna continue to move on also, right? Like it's one of those things where yeah, one way or the other, we will keep chugging, man. Like, doesn't matter the state of the NFT market, the state of whatever else. We've seen it all before. We're gonna keep rolling, man. So, the vibes don't stop. What have you been up to, my man?
It's been
You're not in Nashville, are you?
no, absolutely not. It's actually been pretty hectic past 2 weeks. I ended up having to hospitalize my cat for a good 4 days.
Dude, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, she decided, it was time. Let's charge Rooster 2 ETH to take care of me this week.
Oh my goodness.
And,
Is that expensive?
dude, it was crazy story. So she wasn't feeling like she slowed down a lot on eating. She was drinking more, and I thought it was because like I tried to change her food and I tried to upgrade her food to like the nicest bag possible that you can get for a cat, and she wanted no part of it. And I was like, all right, so I switched it back. She still didn't start eating. It ended up one morning. Funnily enough, the morning my ex took the dog back to Houston, same day. She's like throwing up all over. Couldn't get her into the vet, so I took her to the hospital. And worst decision I could have done was take her to this specific hospital because they try to fearmonger me into like spending just $4,000 for 1 day's visit. Like pretty much, if you don't do this, your cat's gonna die. And but I picked up on the fear mongering. I told that doctor to fuck off and give me my cat back. Took her somewhere else. Got a lot better care for her. So she ended up getting diagnosed with diabetes.
Cats can have diabetes?
Right. I learned that too. What I also learned is cats are the only animal that can actually go into remission and cure themselves of diabetes.
Huh.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting. So we've been, our whole world was flipped upside down for the past 2 weeks, having to check glucose and administer insulin, and it's been all out of whack. But then Monday, I got this 24-hour like tracker to put on her temporarily, and she's already back to self-regulating as the past 2 days.
Dude, thank goodness,
So,
man. That's insane.
yeah.
First off, insane that it happened, but second
Right.
off, insane that you can correct the issue that quickly.
Right. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's only been, we've only had this 24-hour tracker on her for like 2 days now. So it's only 2 days worth of data, but I haven't had to administer any insulin to her. Her glucose curve has been perfect. So, it was a brief threat of 2 weeks so far and an expensive one. But we might be back to normal now. So back to locking in.
I feel like all the cat coins that have sent recently are because of, in tribute to whatever your situation is happening right now.
Dude, if I made like my cat's probably the prettiest cat that has ever existed. So if I ended ever made a meme coin of my cat, it'd probably be 100 million. 100 million
it's definitely
cat.
it's definitely a top percentile of most expensive cats in the world at this point.
Yeah, dude, she longed Pepe 25x at 700 million market cap, or no, yeah, 700 million market cap right before that crazy God candle. However, uh, too high of leverage. I did end up getting liquidated before able to actually cash in on that trade. But she is goated. She out trades majority of CT.
Oh, man, that's tough. I remember you telling me about that whole setup though, so that's the legendary cat then. You know what you need to do, Rooster, and how you would honestly be able to like you gotta at this point, the cat's gotta like pay for itself to a deeper level now. If you are ever going to use it to make trades, you've got to make that into a TikTok account, right? Like make the cat, never put your face out there, never do anything like that. Just like have the cat be the thing that is trading, right? And let that be what makes all your decisions in crypto. That's the face of your and it'll go viral. Like, at a certain point, the cat will be paying for its own trades.
I actually just downloaded TikTok for the first time a few days ago.
Dude, that's what you gotta do. Make cat content because there are weird people out there that love, cat content, and then you combine that with doing degenerate, silly, like, human things, and you've got a viral account.
BRB.
You've gotta do it, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's one of those things where just producing the content with something like that, it'll take you, what, 10 minutes a day? So those 10 minutes every day that you spend just making, like, 1 little video or 2 little videos with you and your cat, like, eventually, it'll probably take a few months before one of them gets seen and actually kinda blows up a little bit, but you get that one viral video, you start to get, like, this cultish following, and next thing you know, a year from now, your cat's got 100,000 followers and a Bybit sponsorship,
nah,
right?
dude.
Like
I already have the in. I'll just have some pudgy plushies on the deck. Like I'll make a whole setup, put some pudgy plushies down. Right. I have an in with all the penguin chads. So then I'll get on penguin kindness. Right. Oh look, this account only has 20 followers, and it's a cat that trades
mhm.
leverage. And then boom, all of a sudden, yeah, 300,000 followers.
Oh man, my TikTok account still has not been able to break 100 followers. I've been sitting at 89 for a week.
Oh,
Um,
you've had one for a week now. You made one a week ago.
I made one like no, a couple months ago, and I'll post random videos of myself. Like it is nothing crypto related. I literally will just sometimes, have a late night ramble, and I'll take the video and I'll put it on TikTok, and yeah, there's nothing really to it, man. Like, I've got no direction or game plan with it. I'm like, yeah, I maybe one day I'll get some type of inspiration on here, and maybe one day I like, it goes back to the whole thought process of what I was talking about with the cat. Like, it's kind of a different challenge too. Can I figure out a way to go viral completely outside of crypto? Right? And so far the answer is no. I mean, granted, I've only done about like 12 videos on there over the course of a couple months. And they're all really honestly very boring content. Um,
You're not doing
but
enough Zoomer dances, bro.
now that's the thing. It's like if I can somehow figure out a niche on there, it's just a challenge to myself. Can I figure out a way to somehow grow a following on social media where it is like not the anon side of it, where it's just me? And again, so far the answer is definitely no. Um,
Well, what have you been doing for the past 3 weeks then?
Dude, so I'll talk through it, man. It was a rough past few weeks where honestly, like I went through bad stretch with trading where I just spiraled, man. And I had nothing to blame it on this time except for myself, right? Like there was, I had a trade set up with that was probably over leveraged to begin with, and went to bed one night and I had my stops set up closer than they should have been, and the price slipped straight past the stops, and I woke up with my first liquidation email in years. um so I was just pissed, man, and like it just led toward this thing where I started like going down this spiral of just liquidating, different things that were literally liquid at that point in time, kind of trying to scrape together capital to be able to revenge trade my way back. And, it just led toward gambling more than trading. And it just led toward, like this spiral of just losing a lot of shit. And it's like, next thing you know, you're down about half a mil in a month and you're pissed, considering where we are in the market cycle. And like, it just was one of those things, man, where, I was sitting there, had to do like some self-reflection, figure out like what is the next step really past this. And, because it like I feel like the previous time that really happened, right? Like it was after FTX. And after FTX, I had something and somebody else to blame it on. Right? Like this time I had to sit down, like stare at the mirror and be like, okay, this is my own doing. Right. So I think having to like own that and own the responsibility of it was a little bit tough from the pride perspective, right? Like losing the money, that's one thing, but then from the pride perspective, you're like, okay. And I think on top of that, like having a big account compounds whatever the issues that you're dealing with are, right? Like a lot of this stuff is more public versus, back in the day, like pre FTX, pre whatever else, it's like if this shit happened, it was what it was, didn't matter as much. Like, you just move on. Nobody really cares one way or the other. But like again, a lot of the issues I think I just compounded in my head by pride and other stuff. So like, yeah, I like eventually I think figured out, you could sit there and kind of like mope and sit in silence for a while trying to figure, but like that's not going to solve anything, right? Like the best way to be able to bounce back from any situation like that is just to own it, learn from the mistakes and work and move on, right? Like so dude, that's the honest truth of it, man. It's one of those things where it's a little bit embarrassing to admit, but shit happens. I've come back from a lot worse with less before. um but it's humbling. And like,
And it hurts less, as it continues to happen. Not necessarily in like a good thing, right? But you're probably taking this more on the chin than the FTX disappearance. At least from the way I'm hearing you talk about it now, right? Like it stung, but you're more rolling with the punches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the FTX thing though was a little bit of a different situation too, because I feel like at that point, you know as weird as it sounds, like, I was in a serious relationship too, kind of was treating that, even though it wasn't, but it's like I felt the weight of my decisions impacting somebody else. And, to a more, and it's like, I think being single also helps a little bit more, to be able to move past whatever this type of thing is, right? Like at the end of the day, like I am fortunate with that, where whenever you make these risky decisions, it doesn't impact any like direct family member or anything else too crazy, right? Like it is what it is. So at the end of the day, like, again, man, you face situations like this, and I think that's just part of the game with doing anything where, like again, obvious lessons to be learned from the risk management, from the whatever side of it. Like, I got a little bit too greedy at the end of the, as things were pressing too hard, a little bit too overconfident, led toward like one really bad decision that then spiraled into a lot of like smaller bad decisions, right? So, like, there's definite lessons to be learned from that side of it. But again, like I am a big believer at the end of the day, um, that like you're never going to do anything great if you're not willing to take any risks. Um, and obviously, if you don't learn from whatever those mistakes are, you're still not going to, but you've got to be able to do both, right? So, like, through the process of getting there, there are going to be times where, you are humbled and you do face a difficult situation, but it's about how you approach that after it happens. that really, I think, defines who you are and where you'll go versus just letting it sit there and see, then, affect everything else negatively from there on out. Like, you're not going to do anything good. So I don't know, man. Yeah, like you said, in a good spot. I think the other side of it too, it's in those difficult type situations. One of the things that I've like done, and this is a negative trait with that I think that I've like struggled with over the years, is any time that I like run into that where I feel like I have let myself down, right? I feel like I have got to work my ass off and figure it out and do whatever else before admitting it to anybody, right? Because I feel like I don't want to play the sympathy card, right? That's not something that I ever want to look toward, is trying to get sympathy from anybody or for anything. So, that's, I think, but like on the same note, if you don't open up and you're not transparent about the situation, you're also not helping anybody, especially not helping yourself, right? So I think there's a healthy balance with that as well. And, that's something else that like I've kind of come to grips with a little bit with this. But yeah, like that's basically like, long story short of the disappearance for the past few weeks, was just struggling with personal stuff from being an idiot. And again, like just gotta buckle, double down, work harder, and figure this shit out. So
Yeah, dude. You know, also, I mean, a couple of my takeaways from this, I guess your situation as well. Um, One is probably the main reason I don't flip short in these like time periods is because at any point in time, uh, a bullish black swan can happen. And like granted, your position, you weren't really 100% wrong, right? No one thought Trump would get shot in the ear and immediately pump the market 10%, right? And I'm not sure if that's close to your liquidation emails. But you kind of did end up battling a black swan in some sense during the middle of your trade. Um, so it's probably the
oh,
main
dude,
like.
okay, Rooster, that was the frustrating thing too about this, right? Like, actually, the frustrating thing from it was where I was like right directionally. I told you whenever you were, whenever I saw you in person, what my game plan was, and I basically got over greedy with it. Like, I was way up on that trade, and got over greedy, kind of doubled down, and I think kind of just like lapsed a little bit on my judgment with, didn't expect like, big shift the other direction. And again, like, yeah, I don't think it was directly from the Trump thing. Whatever it was, I like, point being, I was an idiot, right? And it led to more stupid decisions. There are a lot of things to be learned from that. I think, again, rather than adding to a winner like that, again, should have taken profit from the winner. Because next thing you know, like, yeah, do a winner if it starts to move the other direction. Yeah, like, yeah. Anyway, point being, a lot of things I can go back, reflect on, talk about, but like, it is what it is, right? Like, and again, the only way to be even more wrong is to just not do anything after you do lose, right? So, um,
Yeah, however, I do wish you would have DM'd me before wheezing your panda because I would have
I
scooped that
nearly
up on a
did.
private sale.
I nearly did, and then I was, again, man, like at the point that I did do that in general, I was like, so I was in such a dark spot, like at the moment that I did that. It was just one of these like stupid moments where you were like, I am going to do whatever to not admit the situation, even though it literally is admitting the situation. And, again, the issue with that was I was just like continuing to double down with these small clips on over aggressive moves to try to like, get back to where I was. And it was just, again, like this stupid, like no discipline involved with any of those moves whatsoever. And, like, the guilt that you're putting on yourself slash whatever else, like it added up to like this compounding of isolation, whatever else. And again, all the things that I'm talking about right now, are all like, they're not you thinking in that situation. Again, like it became something where it was almost like this self-destructive nature just took a hold of me. And it was just, like, I don't know. It was just one of those things where, in a sense, like when you make that decision, you're like, okay, I'm going. This is going. There's part of you that's like, I'm going to come back from whatever this is, and I'll make it back, and then I'll do whatever else with it. But then the other part of you that's like being suppressed is like, no, this is a stupid decision. You're probably just going to do the same thing that just happened a minute ago. Like, you need to stop. So again, man, like lot of dumb things from it. Haven't been through something like that in years. But yeah, is what it is, right? Like you can sit there and you can make up excuses for it. You can sit there and own the situation, right? Like mistakes mistakes were made, and like, gotta double down and like, again, work your way out of it, right? Like, I think that's the big lesson from this all is that if you are sitting there trying to take shortcuts by playing with high leverage, by doing other things like that, most likely you're going to fall off the path, right? If you just do things the right way and you do them slowly, a lot of the times just doing the right things slowly in the crypto space, eventually you just find your way on a path where all of a sudden, boom, like there's this accelerator, right? And like it takes care of itself for you. But you've got to be patient for that, right? Like you can't force your hand.
100%, man. Sorry you've been, battling that the last couple of weeks, but good to hear your voice again. You sound a lot better than, what the on-chain activity and people were speculating on previously.
I mean,
But
they were probably right with whatever
yeah,
they speculated on. Like
it was
that's
pretty
it
spot
was bad.
on.
It was bad. But yeah, man. No, anyway, we are like, we're back, running it back. So, like can't look in the rear view mirror, got to look forward and press on, right? Like again, been in this type of shit before. It's just about working hard, working slowly. So, what else is new in your life, man? What are you working on right now? What's next for Rooster?
Um, like I was saying earlier, it's just now getting back into that time where, I'm about to lock in again. My time has been heavily diverted over the past, few weeks. So I've been pretty much spot and chill, just patient with my bags. Had to sell a couple things to, pay some hospital bills. But been patient with my bags. I still believe in my bags, even though if the actual bags has been MIA at the same time you were, and it's still MIA. I think his Twitter account got nuked. Yeah, didn't end up
Wait,
able to go to the fight.
whose account got nuked?
Ice bags.
Shoot, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's like you're like able to view it, but there's no PFP, and then there's like a weird last tweet, which is probably sarcasm and funny, but yeah, I'm not sure what's actually going on with Bags and his Twitter account. Um, but yeah, I didn't end up getting able to make it to the Mike Perry fight because I had to care for my cat, which was unfortunate, and him losing pretty badly was unfortunate as well. But again, we take those in stride, and we keep going. I'm still spot pandas. I'm still spot all my NFT bags. Still spot some memes, not really too many, but a few. Um, and yeah, it's about to get to that point where I'm gonna put together a trading account and probably side by side with my cat's account and lock in again and run it back up.
Love to hear it, man. I mean, again, dude, the key thing here is you gotta monetize on that cat while you're doing it. If something happens, bro, I'm telling you, like, that really is such a like, the thing though with doing that, you just have to be consistent enough with it to wait until that one viral video happens, and that'll be annoying for a bit. So you gotta find a way that you have fun with just making your cat look like a badass.
Yeah,
Um,
she's pretty good at that. So yeah, we'll see. Still been, trying to stay up to date on the majority of things. Always battling soul boys that talk shit on ETH, and I just I got a white knight for my bags because if I don't, who else will? Apparently, nobody on the timeline.
dude, so people were giving me a hard time about joking around the other day. I tweeted about how holding what's it called ETH this cycle has felt like betting on LTC last cycle, and there were a lot of people pissed off and the comments trying to talk about the differences and being like, bro, I mean, LTC, yeah, definitely. Like it had an ETF last cycle. It had XYZ being built on it. It's like, dude, I get it. I'm still bullish on ETH. And as much as I'm joking around about it, yeah, like it's kind of true until it isn't, unfortunately. Watching it bleed out versus everything. But, eventually, if you look at where things really started for ETH the last couple cycles, it wasn't yet, right? Like, even last cycle, ETH hadn't really pumped yet at this point of that post halving. Um, so I look at it right now, I still think it'll turn around. It's just one of those things you kind of like in the middle of your pain with that type of stuff, you kind of just have to laugh a little bit, right? Like you gotta poke some fun at yourself. I'm still super bullish on ETH. I really do think it'll turn around. Now, the big thing that you have to ask yourself as far as where it's going, if you're just holding spot ETH, like there, it's
I'm
a risk reward
absolutely
thing.
not touching spot ETH. I don't. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
no,
lie.
like you've got leverage ETH positions, right? Like
Yes,
everything
all my
built on
ETH
ETH.
is leveraged. Right.
Right. Like it's products that are built on ETH. Again, what I'm getting at here though is it's like from the spot ETH perspective, it'll eventually have a run, but there are going to be a number of L1s that outperform it. It's just the nature of the beast, right? When you've got something that is the number 2 market cap, like it will not sit there and just do the crazy insane multiples relative to Bitcoin that some of these other smaller up and coming ecosystems like Monad or whatever else whenever it comes out will probably do, right? Like it's going to be a little bit of a safer play, but what comes along with that is the stability and larger capital infusion for what is being built on top of it. Um, and like that ranges everything from the L2s that we've seen that are out there, like Blast, etc. Like that's the funny thing. There are a lot of people that are posting about how bearish they are on ETH, yet they'll sit there and be like a Blast Maxi. Or, and it's like you do realize what you're saying there, right? And I don't think that a lot of people really do. But it all feeds back into itself, and I think that eventually we are going to see that run on the main chain. It's just a matter of like, again, it's a matter of patience. It's like this market crabs for years and then has that up only moment, right?
Oh, I'm a full believer. It will have its moment, and it will be a great liquidity suck. And I will be absolutely euphoric for. Oh, I'll be unbearable on the timeline when it happens too. I've been so patient. I've been spot. I've been holding. Spot my leverage positions, holding, waiting for the moment, battling the soy boys every day as Sol keeps going up and up and up and up and up, right? Sol's battling over $100 million inflation to the ecosystem every week. And people are worried about the 8 million token unlock over the next few months, which is like minuscule compared to the unlock of just the native ecosystem over the next year. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love to dog shit on Sol, about 25 to 30% of my portfolio is Sol ecosystem. So, I'll talk shit all day on my own bags if that's what it helps to pump them. Hey, I'll do whatever for my bags. But I've been waiting, and I've been patient, and when it happens, I will be insufferable. Let's pop it over to
Yeah, that's what I
DeGeno
was
as
gonna say.
well. He got his hand up.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, it was just getting interesting and wanted to kind of get in on the conversation. So hopefully, Khalil, you're not being too hard on yourself. I think that that's something that all crypto people have in common. It's probably just a part of personality to be in early on things and degen into things and that's part of the reason why someone can have great success. But at the same time, we all know we talk in X's, right? We don't talk in percentages. So we get the X's sometimes, but obviously when it drops hard. Were you doing mainly Bitcoin, or were you like soul degenning? That would be a
No,
question.
dude, it primarily happened just leverage trading, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So
on a six, like had a solid trade, got over greedy, a little bit complacent, didn't really check in on it for a little bit, and next thing you know, you wake up and
yeah.
that shit's gone.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, with leverage, obviously, one has to watch out. But I mean, like, don't forget. I mean, you weren't the only one, right? That was like the biggest one since FTX, biggest liquidation of people on leverage. So, like, it happened to the best of us. You mentioned about ETH. So I mean, you talked about previous cycles. So probably it's going to all happen in a similar fashion. So we still got to wait for Bitcoin. Then ETH is going to happen. The ETF was this week, and then once ETH goes, the high quality alts go, including the L1s. I want to hear your opinion because you said there's going to be L1s that are outperforming. I want to know which ones you think are really good. And you mentioned patience, and for anyone listening, yeah, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways in crypto. You really got to be patient. It's a game. Sometimes it flows just from the less patient to the more patient.
yeah, appreciate you coming up and joining, man. Appreciate the kind words as well. So as far as with ETH and L1s and alts right now in general, what I'm still really expecting, I've tweeted about this. I still think that we've got more sideways, potentially a little bit more down before we go up. I like as much as I think the ETF is a bullish catalyst long term and even like midterm, we can look back at what happened to Bitcoin post ETF, where there were several weeks of it just bleeding out, right? Like, and then several weeks of it kind of reclaiming that level before things really ended up turning around with it. So, and a lot of that just has to do with, I think, as many people, you can look and say, man, it opens the doors for institutional investors to be able to come in and buy. And from a regulatory perspective for the alts, with ETH being passed, especially, I think that, it's as big of a deal, if not even bigger than Bitcoin, because there were a lot of people for a long time that were like, is ETH a commodity? Is it, you know, or is it a security? Is it XYZ, especially with a proof of stake? Like, so I think it opens the doors a little bit more for speculation on the alt side of things, where we're going to have a lot more people, like, as they see the volume that's traded on ETH for these ETFs. And as crypto really starts to go mainstream again, the incentive for a bunch of these, for the BlackRocks and the Fidelities of the world to push more crypto spot ETFs is going to be insane. And when you combine that with a with a party that is a little bit more pro crypto that's in place, and you have somebody heading the SEC that's not Gary Gensler, um, I think that it just opens the door again for an alt season. Even though the last one that we saw was insane, I think, again, it's going to be an alt season unlike any other. But it, you can still have, like right now. we're looking at it. The Mount Gox unlocks. I still think that's going to end up impacting things a little bit. That's some weight put on it. You've got freaking Barry, where Barry, like, what do they want to do immediately when the ETH stuff is unlocked? Like, they're dumping some of that shit, right? Like, you've got some sell pressure for people that waited on this event as well, where I just don't think that it necessarily means up only immediately. I think you got to wait a little bit for some of that pressure to be alleviated and absorbed by the market. And before you know it, I don't think it's going to take way too long. But personally, I'm still really expecting, it to be sometime early fall before we really start to just gig ascend again. I mean, hey, if I'm wrong, not a big deal, is what it is, right? Like, I still think that we're going to be up only over the course of the next couple of years. But yeah, man, I mean, right now, I like a little bit of patience isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Ellis, or I'll let DeGeno, you respond to that first, and I'll kick it over to
Yeah, actually,
Ellis.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna respond quick, and then I see someone has their hand up, so obviously let them get in on the conversation. But just wanted to say to that. Well, I totally agree. I think Bitcoin's going to be going probably sideways until autumn, and that's when we're going to start seeing some stuff. And the ETF, it was a little bit like a post news effect, but then we of course had the correction that resynchronized us with previous cycles, and in a sense, we're back where we were supposed to be. So we went up a little bit too early, and people were wondering whether or not it's gonna be like a cycle that's gonna deviate from the previous. But right now, everything seems like it's just going back to place.
All right, Ellis, I'm going to let you talk. And in the meantime, I am also going to quickly, I'll have my mic on mute. I'm listening. I've got to go run down and grab something real quick, but I am listening.
Oh, good. What up? What up, Kaleo Rooster? How y'all doing?
Doing well, man. How are you? Congrats on the studio, by the way.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be fun. You'll have to come down and check it out if you ever
for
make
sure.
it to the shithole that I live in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know about where you stay at. So I'll definitely know where, or let you know if I'm ever heading out in that direction.
Oh
I know a
yeah,
bunch of y'all that always be out there.
you know that Kevin Hart skit. It's like one of his first ones, and his dad like throws him in the pool or whatever, and he's like, "Almost lost you there, didn't we?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think about every time my friends almost get lost. But they're back. Bounce back season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is.
Hell yeah, nah, but it's gonna start going up heavy on my birthday, which is September 23rd. Everybody, you can mark your calendars. I just
3 days
know
after
because it'll be a
Rooster's
great birthday.
birthday.
Huh?
I said 3 days after my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. We do have very similar birthdays. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
But no, man, it's been good. Glad the space is back open. Wonkies, shit, almost 3 years, or has it already been 3 years?
Just about. It'll be 80's birthday this year,
October,
October.
something like that, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, bro. I'm going back down south fishing this weekend. The last year that I did this last year, and it was whenever Sprotos came out, and I minted something else other than Sprotos. So that was really cool. I hope I don't do that mistake again whenever I'm down there. I hope another thing blows up. I'm like, fuck, dude. I minted like these three stupid, like, it was like almost those undead thing, like derivatives, instead of minting the thing that never been, a thing before. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
since
that was a
Sproto's the
myth.
5 ETH, by the way.
Huh?
I said since Sproto's the 5 ETH, by the way.
Yeah. Dude, are they below like 0.8 right now?
I think they're right about like 0.9.
Okay.
Last I looked yesterday.
Yeah, I love it. I look at them, they're at like 0.4, and I'm like, all right, let me gather a little ETH. And then like I check back the next 2 days and they're like triple. I'm like, lit.
Yeah, that
That's
might have been
nice.
me. Sorry.
Damn, you
I
over
bought
there
at
sweeping the
0.4.
floor, dog?
I bought at 0.4.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, I fuck with, dude, that was one thing about consensus whenever I was there, is that like the Harry Potter Obama Sonic Inu 10 or 10 Inu, they were like the biggest. Like everybody had their merch on and shit like that. They didn't have booths or anything. Like you could just tell like they were the biggest community, like shitcoin community that was around.
Yeah,
It was really bullish.
they ride hard. That's why I ended up getting into Sprotos, is because the community rides hard. I'm not trying to become a community member. Thankfully, I'm up 2x on the trade at the moment.
Well, dude, that's the best, bro. Become a community member. Never sell, bro. Always have hopium. That's what we're here for, bro.
Dude, I'm a community member of too many projects at the moment.
My community service, I have no more hours for this shit.
Yeah, serve for the next decade. But what you got going on, Ellis? What else?
Shit, man. Nothing. Just fucking. I think I'm about to start. So my buddy does multifamily housing. So
Okay.
he needs somebody. He needs somebody like here in Texas to like do raises and stuff for him. So I think I'm about to start trying to get into that game.
Nice.
And then yeah, bro, just trading shitcoins. To be honest with you, I hit my first fucking like 50 times this whole cycle. I kind of stayed away from pump fund, didn't really fuck with it. But then like last week, I was like, nah, dude, like I need some money. I need a degen. And ended up picking up this coin at fucking 18K all pump fun, and it went to 8 million.
Oh, nice.
Something like that. Yeah, so
that's a good lick.
It was a good leak, bro. But other than that, man, just doing IRL shit, really, just letting the market do itself. I wake up every morning, check the market, still up 4 times from the bottom. So, I mean, I'm happy. People are panicking. They have terrible positions. I don't know what they were doing 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, but, each his own.
Yes,
So
sir.
Ellis, tell me about this studio.
Okay. It's just a little podcast studio that I developed here in Dallas. Do you know who Louis J. Gomez is?
I do
comedian?
not.
He's just some comedian guy who's been doing like podcasts for 15 years. So he was my first client. I was able to get him in. But I didn't have all my shit in. So I had to literally like run to Best Buy at 10 in the morning and buy like mics and shit. So it was kind of hectic that day. But I finally got my stuff in. So basically the business model is just a subscription. People can come 1 hour a week, and then they pay a certain like subscription price. At the beginning of the month, you can bring a guest in, things like that. This is what the studio is. And then also, have you ever seen like the bathroom in Berlin? It's called Hor, H-O-R, like a horror bathroom. It's like a DJ set.
I've not, man.
Okay, so basically, yeah, that's what I want to do too. So I want to have like DJs come in once a week, either known DJs or up and coming DJs, and then let them just play a set for like an hour on my platform.
So is the way that you're kind of setting it up, in a sense, sounds kind of like a WeWork for podcasting and for that type of creative individual.
Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Because I mean, like you could do the podcast, the live stream, like having people on with like not like in person, but it kind of is a lot to have like all the equipment and everything set up. So you just show up, record, and then leave. So I'm trying to be that vehicle. So yeah,
That's
basically
awesome, man.
we will.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, there's a guy in my building that actually does it too, and he's completely sold out. He's gonna start sending me clients because he can't book them, and like this dude, like fucking, he started 3 years ago, and yeah, he never comes into the office. He just has a person that sits in the office all day, and people just come in and record, and he just makes bread.
I'd love to hear that, man. I mean, I think it's one of those things. Do you do anything from the podcasting side yourself right now?
Yeah, I have a series going right now. I've been doing it for about 2 months. It is I've been interviewing like women in Web3. So had like a bunch of girls on, and then now I'm starting to make a new series about like gaming projects.
Dude, I think that's always the best thing when you can combine kind of what you're doing from the entrepreneurial side, where you're already using this space, but you're recognizing you're not utilizing it 24/7.
Hmm.
To be able to combine those passions, dude, that's incredible idea.
Yeah,
Um,
bro. That was pretty much the goal. I was like, I started doing the podcast. I'm like, I fucking love this shit, man. Like, this is me. Like talking to people, like this is me. I always did like labor jobs, like types of jobs. And it was never me, but like talking to people, finding connections, making connections for people. That's just what I found is my passion.
yeah, man, I've been thinking about doing not necessarily something exactly similar, but as I've been um, sitting here the past, like, that's one of the things I thought about over the course of the past month is right now, bro, whenever I moved in with the roommates, like, again, been a super healthy situation from, as far as just like the mental clarity side, not being able to completely isolate, having, just that built in community has been really, really healthy. But the one thing that I think is the downside of it is, right, like, bro, I used to, my old place had my own office, had everything else, everything was a little bit separated. Here it's like, bro, I've got everything compacted into one room where it's like, the bedroom is the studio, is the office, and that's fine to a certain extent, but what it can lead to is it's really easy to let yourself just get distracted. And I like, when I work, I want to work, right? When I hustle and focus, I want to focus. I don't want the other distractions. So creating a studio and doing something like that, I think it just makes so much sense. So I don't know, man. I might have to DM you and ask you for some tips on some of the, what went into, setting up what you got.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. There's actually a company that does like the packages for all the podcast stuff, and it's
Really?
relatively cheap. So I could send you that info. But nah, what I really did was, and it's kind of crazy. So there's my buddy's doing this other startup, and they wanted the business to be based out of Texas, right? So they were like, "Yo, we need to get an office space. We're never gonna use it because they're in like Arkansas. They're doing THCA like products." But yeah, he was like, "We just need an office space. We'll pay for like a third of it."
All of
And
a
then
sudden now this is long
Oh,
term
bro,
money.
that's perfect.
yeah. So I was like, okay, bet. So I basically got like this whole. It's like a three office space for me, for like 1/4 of the price.
Congrats, man. Love to hear it. Oh, Rooster, I thought you'd like that picture that I took for you of what I'm doing to try to keep this space going right now. That I pinned up to the top. I literally have the old phone on ice.
That's hilarious, and it seems like it's working.
I think it is. I'm feeling it. Like, you know, it feels cool, feels fresh. So I think we're gonna be able to keep this going a little bit longer this time.
Yeah, let's make our predictions to your previous tweet as well. You said 1 p.m. Eastern time
Oh,
tomorrow, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you guys are listening right now and you have not commented, I'll pin it again. And you haven't commented on this one right here. Originally, I was just gonna do like sometime this afternoon, but then I was like, that's more too boring. I mean, it could easily be flat in an hour or two. So to make it more interesting, I will look through the comments, and I've been taking some screenshots of everybody that's been listening actively throughout this space. Just drop your prediction on the price of BTC. And I will use BTC USD Coinbase spot price for the final price on this. But at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, I think that's what I put on there, right? Yeah, so 1 p.m.
It's like
Eastern
24
time
hours from now.
tomorrow. So basically, yeah, like 24, 25, yeah, 24 hours from now. And whoever's closest will win a stonk. So yeah. My guess though, dude, I haven't really looked at the
I mean, I want to guess 69 420 for the culture, but You know, I'll never let an opportunity pass up for a stonk.
Dude, I'm guessing lower.
Yeah, I'm also guessing lower.
Okay, oof. I don't think anybody's guessed really low yet. I think if I were
Don't go bearish
guessing
again, bro.
on this, hey, I mean, I got nothing to bet with, so don't worry. But I would guess 63K.
63.
Dude, Bitcoin conference is tomorrow. Nuke everything.
Yeah, but this time it's different.
I'm not at the conference, so who knows? Maybe it is different this time around. No, dude. Okay, what about this? Actually, let's just retrace the move from last Friday. We'll call it 63,420. 63,420 would be my guess.
All right, I'll be the bull that everybody deserves, and I'm guessing 69,420.
Well,
Fuck everybody.
okay, but again,
I'm being boring. I just put in 66, like pretty much stable.
Yeah, but okay, here's why I would like if I were competing in this, why I would put the more aggressive bet is because again, the more stable is probably highest likelihood for what DeGeno's doing. But when you consider how many people are putting their hands in the pot for that more stable price, you have a much higher concentrated, you know, it takes away from the probability, right? Like it's like whenever you're getting yield from a certain position, the more people that are sitting there staking and like the less yield you're going to get. So again, like from the probability perspective, as long as less people are not betting those extreme prices, you know, you like it increases the likelihood should there be an extreme move, you know, you're by yourself rather than in a
Bro,
crowd.
this is different, bro. Isn't Trump speaking, and now they got the Hawk Tool girl that's gonna be there?
Hey, like send
It's
it all, man.
different.
I'm fine with it sending.
69, 420.
69. Did you put it down?
I did. I just did.
All right,
Locked
I
in.
see it.
It's
It's
locked in.
locked in.
Wait, what time is his speech tomorrow? Do you guys
Let's see.
know?
We've got Bullish Bexter guessing 63,300. We've got
Oh
Tabodi
Lord.
guessing 59,850. Wow, Tabodi.
Whoa.
We've got Nick, aka Navi HZ Trades, 65,900. DeGeno 66K, Trading Joker 67.8. Blint a little bit bullish too with 67,129. So far, Rooster's got the most bullish out of them all. We've got Sugar Shane,
I will be the Justin son and do it myself.
66,666. I don't even like saying that. Kenny Powers, 68,285, another bull. We got TJ, aka Bag Holder Gang, coming in at 66,739, 56. Non-fungible holder coming in at 67,856. I mean, honestly, I'm seeing about 50-50 on here. I think we took the average of all these prices, it would literally just be 66 something, you know, where we are right now. We got another 65,892, 68,781, 67,240, 66,069, 66,300. I'm telling you a lot. And then Pick God was the very first one with the 66, 278, 22. And
If
the other thing
you
too
counter
that I
trade
like,
CT, I think you should
I
be
need to
extremely
clarify this.
bullish.
Submissions for this end at the end of it, like when the space ends, right? You know, you're not going to be able to just submit a last minute guess right before. I should probably put that on the underneath the tweet thread.
Yeah, the fact that it's 50-50 just proves no one has any idea.
Yeah.
I'm counter trading CT. No one said 70K, so 69,420 is probably going to be the closest. Trump's going to say we are going to back the Federal Reserve with Bitcoin, and then Bahala, here we come.
Well, I think he's definitely going to say that he's going to make the U.S. the quote unquote capital of crypto. How and what that exactly means, I have no idea. But he's definitely going to say that. Whether or not he's going to say anything like formal, who knows? But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he said something that they're going to buy some Bitcoin if he's in government.
Is
Dude, see,
Kamala going to make an appearance?
nah, she backed out.
I heard a rumor that she might.
We were, or yeah, we were discussing this in a boss show earlier. It actually turned into a pretty heated discussion. It was pretty funny. No, I think the consensus is that she is not going to speak there, and then some people were saying it'd be, you know, career suicide, political suicide, and some people were not for the Democrats switching stance on crypto, and they were also talking about how, you know, the Republicans weren't for crypto just last term. So, and they flipped. And then I pointed out, yeah, well, Trump wasn't a dev back then, and he was a dev now and has launched 4 NFT collections. Um, so that, yeah, we have a dev that could be in office at this point. And not only that, I made a bag off his NFTs because I minted a 1-on-1 and immediately cheated that off a cliff to whoever wanted to go to dinner. Um, and yeah, so I think the consensus is Trump will speak, Kamala won't, and he's who knows what he's going to say. I hope it's just absolutely retarded and bullish, and I get this free song from it.
Hey, I mean, again, if shit sends, I'm all for it. So, you know, let it send. Like the higher prices go, the more opportunity there is. Um, but I'm also fine with things parking for a little bit, a little bit lower. Give me a chance to, you know, get back on the horse. Give me another couple months. That would be nice. But yeah, like again, never be mad whenever anything goes up. Like we're still at the point of the cycle though, man. It's just people ask me, like a lot of friends in real life, is it a good time to buy? And the answer right now is yes, across the board. As long as Bitcoin is sitting beneath its previous all-time high, it's a no-brainer place to be buying and to be stacking, to be accumulating whatever, right? Like because as much as, you know, you can say that the bull market has started, it really like I mean, it really is not hit the main part of it yet, right? Like, have we seen the bottom? Yeah. Like, you know, we're not going back to the lows from the FTX side of it. Like that's I think everybody can agree the bottom from that bear market is in. But like if anybody thinks that this is all we're gonna see and the cycle's over here, they're insane, right? Like we're going way high. There are just too many fundamental stars that are lining up for this not to just absolutely keep ripping whenever it does enterprise discovery.
Well, see, and also, but the people that are saying that are also the fucking idiots that were selling all of their precious coins to the Barrys and Larrys of the world. And then now, yeah, we're getting dumped on the whole way up. So you know, it kind of does because they barely have any coins left, right? And then the Barrys and the Larrys got all the coins. One's good, one's not. um, and you know you have them been buying up Solana since like you know probably sub $20 last cycle, and they're bullish on something that they're about to get dumped on again, and then they have no coins left. So I kind of get why some people feel a little bit, you know, stagnant. Um, but I'm a full believer that this cycle is the super cycle, and we will probably see the greatest returns out of any cycle that has come out of this cycle.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
Break that.
some stability, honestly. Like I would like to just go with the previous cycles, wait till autumn and let things heat up. If things are gonna send, I guess we're gonna have to let them send. But like I just wouldn't mind kind of going resynchronizing, going back to the cycles. I know Kaleo, you've seen several cycles. I remember you from 2017 even. So like you definitely remember how those look. And if you look at a graph, you have a long kind of drawn out line, and then you have like a very high vertical line that doesn't last so long. So, like you previously said, when is a good time? You probably want to buy before the vertical line. And like, when is that? Well, it might be right now, not financial advice, but like, probably better to do it before the vertical line.
Which means it is right now. So,
Right.
Yeah.
As a
Hello everyone.
proud diamond hander since 2016, 2017, I really haven't taken. I mean, I've taken on my initial, plus a few X's, but I really haven't taken any major profits and have bag held my positions and rotated and accumulated and rotated and accumulated. It might not even, who knows? It might not end up being this cycle, but 2020, if it's not 2029, watch out. And I will be bag holding and diamond handing my bags until then. I will get my lick where I'm able to walk away. I do believe it's a cycle, but this would be technically, I guess, considered my third cycle. Even though I was just a little peen during the first one and had absolutely zero money. Um, I think this is a super cycle. I say
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin 269.
Hell yeah.
Bitcoin.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
hey,
Hey Kaleo, how are you? How's everyone?
doing well. How are you doing?
Hi Rooster, it's been a long time since I came here. I hope I'm not too late to this space.
Oh man, we're hanging out. I got the old phone on ice. I think it's gonna buy us some time.
Okay, so I have a question regarding this latest tweet you just posted about running it back up, like how much BTC is gonna be. So according to your time, so how long is that deadline like?
Bro, I mean, like if you 1 second,
About when will the
if you
BTC?
look on there, I posted. You've got until the end of this space to put a guess on there. So you're not gonna get a guess at
So
like
it's like 30 minutes.
12:59 Eastern time tomorrow, a minute before the cutoff, what the
It's now.
closest
Make a
is.
guess now,
Okay,
dude.
so then I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so the point
post
is
right now.
make your guess now. I mean, you might have like another 30 minutes, but if we just all of a sudden up and end this space, guess what? Your submission doesn't count. So I would do it the sooner the better.
Sure. I'll do it.
You know what
All
I
right.
say, Kaleo? I say take the phone off ice, and when it nukes, it nukes.
Um, yeah, I mean, I could. Like that's been the way that we've ended them the past few times. I'm not gonna lie, like the phone is literally ice cold right now, so I did just take it off ice because I know that they can kind of shut down the other way too. So sometimes you have to improvise a little bit. I like the only purpose of this old phone, why I have it, is literally just to have a backup so I can run two spaces or run a space while, talking on a different, like, that's the only purpose of this old phone. I'm actually here in a little over a month. I think I'm going to go ahead and finally upgrade my main one too. I realized um, why not? Like, because the new iPhone comes out usually September each year. So, and it should be like the 15, 16, whatever this time. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, no, the old one that is hosting from the LedgArt account, that's just an old iPhone X, baby. That thing is just gonna keep chugging, and it's got about, if I don't put it on ice, about an hour before it overheats on spaces. Um, so let's see what we got.
So,
Yeah, DGeno, what's up, man?
yeah, just because before you were talking about L1s are certainly going to outperform ETH. I just wanted to know which ones you were like, which ones you think are going to perform the best.
So let's see this. I think Soul is going to continue to perform well. It's not going anywhere. Um, like, but let's get a little bit more aggressive. I want to look outside of like the top 20. Um, Outside of the top 20, what are we really looking at here? I'm honestly not super bullish on Aptos. Maybe I should be like, I just don't see a ton of traction that community has really built so far from a social perspective, even though they had a shit ton of funding. I mean, I think I've seen a lot of like bullish things about Say could be one that ends up.
Luna's gonna run it back.
Yeah, Luna. Say is one that's SEI. I'm pretty bullish on Monad right now. Just the way that they've, if nothing else, from marketing perspective, like they have just done an incredible job onboarding enough people that I think we're going to see a lot of dApps that are built on top of it very quickly. I know there's a lot that's already in the pipeline. So that's one I'm excited about for later this year. Let's see.
Take on a Sui.
Take on Sui. Yeah, honestly, I'm probably a little bit more bullish on Sui than I am Aptos. I've seen a little bit of traction for Sui kind of pick up recently.
One thing that's interesting, they got the highest ETH outflows, higher than Solana. So there's a lot of money going to Sui.
Is INJ an L1 injective?
Dude, INJ is like, I don't really know injected. Let me see. I spent like a full day, which I know, a full day, so much time,
Injective have been
but
lagging a lot.
looking through injective videos, etc. a while back. I don't think injective is really classified as an L1. I might be completely wrong though here.
I have no
I'm gonna
idea.
let Leverage Labs talk. 618 now.
Okay.
Bro, you always change your name. What's going on, man?
Nothing
Okay,
much, man.
so
How you been?
I've been good, brother. I've been good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I had to ask you. Are you still a Doge maxi?
Hey, Doge is eventually gonna have its time. Like
Oh,
I'm a maxi on meme coins this cycle, and I think the ETF narrative is real, and I think that it is a matter of when we see a Doge spot ETF be presented, not if.
I
Like a
I agree.
Doge spot ETF will eventually be put into this world.
So here's something for you that I think is real bullish about Doge. Are you into the Bitcoin miners at all?
Yeah, I dabble, know a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, we know that Doge is a proof of work coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Marathon Digital is like basically casting the net on proof of work coin. So yeah, that's a bullish catalyst for any proof of work coin for that matter, but Doge in particular.
okay, Kaleo, have you heard of this new token that just got released today called Lords, Block Lords,
I have not.
LRDS? Just check it out. It just got launched and I don't know, it's just pumping like crazy. It's a gaming token, by the way.
Okay, yeah, no, Injective is an L1. I'm crazy.
I think you will
Just
find
Bullish
it
on
on desk
that
screener.
on my injective bags because I threw a bag over there into oblivion and I'm not even sure if I know how to find it again. So pray it pumps and I do know how to get that back.
Hey, if I can say something about Doge, actually, so that's interesting. It's part of the whole ETH meme culture. It's something that one can potentially understand. First of all, you got tons of like old school people that are really into Doge. Even some people that are really like surprising, though, they'll tweet something about Doge that they have huge bags, and you would have never thought. And the thing about ETH memes, very often they pump, they go down, then they do a bigger pump, then they go back down, then they do a bigger one, and kind of.
well, and how are you putting Doge with the ETH memes?
What do you mean?
So Doge is its own chain.
No, I mean, I know that there's like a whole like universe around it, but I mean, I guess just because it's so old school and like it pretty much does what Pepe does, what Shib does. It pumps, it goes down. It goes bigger, then it goes down. Then it goes bigger, then it goes down. It's the same thing that Chip does. It's the same thing that Pepe does. It's like it goes through waves, and every wave is bigger, and it's something you can understand. And
You would call that a sideways moment.
yeah, but like for example, a lot of Solana memes, it's a different culture. It's a different kind of like pump and dump culture, different cheat culture. You never know which ones are going to make it through. But the old school memes, the ones that lasted, that have the communities, they usually tend to go in such waves. So it's a little bit more patience driven. So a lot of people are expecting those just to eventually make a huge wave again, bigger than the previous and bigger than the one before that. So it's still speculative, but it seems a little bit more, let's say, predictable than what we're seeing these days in the degen culture.
Yeah, okay, I could agree from that perspective. The Doge acts kind of like ETH, where we were talking earlier, Rooster and I were, about how ETH is one of those safer bets. It doesn't have the immediate multiples. It's like, but again, it's a safer bet. Confident that eventually it's going to pump. You just look at what's being built on top of it. Look at the ETF approval, everything else. A lot of fundamental catalysts, a lot of like solid technical catalysts as well, that are driving it. So again, with Doge, I think there are just enough catalysts in place with what we've seen with meme culture recently, where eventually, whenever, like, as much as crypto's been talked about in the mainstream recently, it hasn't really hit that like sexy wave again that we really saw last bull market, where everything is crazy, or the bull market before that. So, like, in my opinion, we're not in a true bull market yet, but whenever we really are there, I just don't see a way that Doge doesn't end up pumping, right? Like, as the face of meme coins, the average person, when they think of memes, right? Like, meme coins, they think of Doge if they are a normie. Like, the
Do
majority
you
of normies
really
have heard.
think Elon is not going to pump Doge to oblivion as best as he can? Like, that's guaranteed fact going to happen. Are you going to time that trade? Like, who knows when it's going to happen? But there will be a point where Elon is turbo bull posting Doge, and it hits another 10x from where it is. I'm also a full believer in this cycle is probably, we got Doge over $1 easily over $1, maybe even like 150. I'm telling y'all, like, a lot of people are going to end up being sidelined for when the major move happens, and it's going to be sweet and glorious.
And what do you think of WorldCoin? Is it a real world asset or a meme coin?
What coin?
WorldCoin by
Oh,
this OpenAI.
WorldCoin. I mean, like, it's not a meme coin, though it
Must
feels,
be a real world asset.
people treat it like a meme coin, but no, it's not
Does
officially a meme coin.
does anyone
Which
actually
one? Which
give a
one?
shit
Sorry, I
about
didn't catch that.
WorldCoin?
WorldCoin.
I don't think anybody really gives a shit about WorldCoin, to be
WLT,
honest.
WorldCoin. Yeah, there have been rumors about some, I don't know, some backlash against that WorldCoin or something like that. There have been a lot of rumors going on. You can check it out in Google about it.
Yeah, dude, as scammy as WorldCoin seems like it is, it's one of those things that I mean, it'll probably pump throughout the
It's
cycle,
like they were
just
saying they
just
will be taking
because,
some data
like,
out of you or something like that.
yeah, I mean, you literally sell your soul for a few bucks, but there are a lot of people in third world countries that are okay with that, right? Like, I mean, heck, a lot of U.S. citizens, a lot of like people in developed countries are also okay with that. They're like, oh, $10, and you get all my biometric information like registered and logged. Like, yeah, sure, I'll sell myself. Um, so Yeah, I mean, the way the premise of WorldCoin is, it's supposed to be a fair launch token in the sense that every single human being is entitled to X amount of world. And the way that you claim it is to basically do this biometric scan. And the reason for that is that nobody else is supposed to be able to come in and, you know, take your tokens if, like, nobody else can match your biometrics, right? So your biometrics are the initial key for the claim, and then from there, anybody can do whatever the heck they want with it. But, so it's interesting in a concept. Like, it almost sounds like I forget the system that they use in India. Because I know India has shifted toward a little bit more of a biometric system also over the course of the past, like, 7 years. So I think it has a similar type premise to it as far as being able to claim whatever else. So, there is precedent for it from, like, a national level. It's just, I think the real heart of it, why so many people in crypto are against it, is like, the initial heart of crypto was kind of privacy, not selling your information, and being able to get away from that type of narrative. And you're doing the exact opposite with World.
Yeah, I mean it's literally a gimmick. Like it's like Pi Network. Anybody fucking remember Pi Network? That would fucking just pretty much drain your battery all day for these worthless tokens that I'm pretty sure you still can't even sell to this day. Yeah, pretty much probably the same exact fucking thing, same business model. No one really gives a shit about it. Yeah, I would not throw $1 in WorldCoin, but it may pump probably because everything's gonna fucking pump.
Cool. So can we move to the next most hated coin? Let's talk about XRP. We heard about its case that's happening on 27th of July. What do you think about it? Is it gonna pump or is it gonna dump?
Honestly, man, I don't think about XRP anymore. So that means, who knows? It'll, like, the way XRP works is, how many calendar days are there in a year? 365. It has about one where it'll pull a 2 or 3x, and then it'll just bleed off the rest of the year, regardless of whatever happens. Maybe it's got like 3 or 4 days where it does that 2 or 3x. Outside of that, it just goes lower. So, I think every single pump on XRP should be an exit pump. And if you ever see that 2 or 3x candle, you sell that shit. That's just my take.
Yeah,
You're
no offense at all. Like I say this with love, but probably follow more in different accounts. Just judging by the questions that you're asking, I think you need to follow some more people at least.
Personally, I never found XRP, and there's no discernible real reason, but XRP and for some reason Cardano, I never found them attractive, so I can't really say too much about them.
Yeah.
Just jumping back to ETH memes. What's up, Kaleo? Big fan, been following for a while now. I'm just wondering what you think on NPC and if you think it's got the possibility to run up to the billions. It's sitting right around like 200, 250 million right now.
Bro, honestly, I don't even know anything about it. So I couldn't tell you. Does it have the possibility if it's sitting in that price range? Sure. I mean, anything that's already reached the 100 mil plus marker, I think, has that chance, especially in a meme coin super cycle. But will it? I mean, yeah, TBD. Like, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I
Rooster might be able
appreciate
to
it.
speak to it.
200 million. Whoa, that came quick for NPC.
Is that a base coin?
It's on base and ETH. They're like pegged to each other somehow.
I mean, I did see people shitting on base because base was doing absolutely nothing. So maybe like a revenge pump. I honestly have no idea. Base was not following my previous thesis as well. I thought it'd be more used, but really people just seem to want to cheat on Solana with no remorse, and just you got to be with the consensus until it changes. Right? I've lost a pretty decent bag over the past few months trying to front run. Well, not realized losses, but down a bit. Trying to front run money rotation, and I'm comfy in my positions. I still think I'm going to get the returns that I want. It's just taking longer than possible. But yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to actively trade, I mean, you're probably not going to catch the Cabal VC pump on base before it happens, unless if you're bag holding.
All right, gents. Well, it's been a solid space. Good getting back here. Good getting to talk to you guys. I fortunately have to get rolling. Gotta stick to disciplined schedule with getting in the gym too. Still trying to get back in shape. Slowly but surely making progress. But yeah, I'm
I,
supposed to meet my buddy up there in 15 minutes.
I'm headed to the gym right now too. That's hilarious.
Let's go.
Awesome. Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Yeah, but it was an enjoyable space, man. Wonky stonks are inevitable, and we will see you guys next time.
Yes, sir. Later, y'all. Take care.